Welcome back to the channel. Many of you have shown some interest in the well pump enclosure that I made inside this shed. So I wanted to get out here and kind of show you how the whole project's been going. Been adding insulation on the inside to the rest of the shed. And obviously we got the siding put up. So just want to give you a little tour on the outside here and show you what we got going on in there. Starting here in the back, we've got two brand new windows. All the siding's been replaced. I've still got some work to do landscaping wise to kind of even out this ground, make sure the water flows away from all of this. One of the big problems we had was that too much ground was up against the base of this, so it both got wet from the inside, causing rot in the sill plates, and then the moisture wouldn't leave either because of the ground having the moisture and the dirt having direct contact with some of that sill plating underneath the siding. It was just all butted up against there. All this here is just leaves that I need to get out of the way, but the ground is not, at least against the edges of this anymore. And we've got ground contact treated sill plates where we replaced those pieces on the inside there, so that shouldn't be a problem either. But you can see nice siding here, looks pretty good. The roof is the same roof, and it'll continue to be that roof until it actually needs replaced. Haven't had to do that at this point. And you can see coming around here some of the places we had to replace some wood. The squirrel just kept getting back in as we were working on it. Even reused some of the old aluminum siding to patch up some corners here where he would sneak his way in. So I got this kind of piece here, and it's curled under there as well, folded in, and kind of blocks that whole corner from being accessible to him. And then we put the siding in over that. One night whenever we were patching the concrete down here, I'll show you in a minute, I'd left this open when it was letting the fumes out, letting it all cure, and the squirrel worked his way out of this. I'm going to have to replace this piece of screen here, but other than that, it's nice and all looks really good. And we got that new door on there. We've got two new windows and all this siding. It just looks like a small home at this point. Way better than it was for sure. So siding replaced on this side as well, and another patch here on the corner where the squirrel had just kept working his way in and was living on the underside of that area there, and just having a blast. He is gone. If you want to see some more images from that, check out that last video I did, and you could see how many nuts he was filling in all of these insulation areas and all the damage he was doing. So coming in here, we've got insulation now in all of these walls. We've got it in the ceilings here. I added some pieces of 2x4 up along where the seams here are. I didn't want to go all the way up to the top, kind of left an air gap at the top. That can act as a little bit of a buffer up there. Wanted to just make sure we utilized more space. The old roof that was in here for the inside only went up to the bottom of the A-frame here, and there was a lot of missing space there that we couldn't utilize. But now you can already see I've got some of that lumber that's already dried pretty well from our milling that's up there. Yeah, we've got all this batting added in, and then I've been going through adding in this plywood. So this plywood's from some crates that we got at work. We're allowed to take home any scrap wood that comes for the pallets that equipment comes in on. There was a large crate that had come in covered with nice big pieces of plywood. These were all about 4 foot by 44 inches, and I needed them to be 40 inches to get up to the top here. So they were perfect. Hardly any of it was wasted in order to fill in these top sections. And some of the larger pieces were closer to a 60-inch tall, and we were able to trim off the top because it's about a 51-inch to get to the top of these sides here. So really excited to be able to use all that reclaimed wood and get all of that filled in here. And I've been taking other smaller pieces and putting them up against the sides here, and it's just really starting to look nice. So the other major issue we were dealing with in here is that once you get past about 8 feet of width of the foundation, is that it really starts dipping down, and it seems they maybe poured an addition to the foundation over here that just wasn't as thick. And with the well pump being over here, even if I wanted to pour a new foundation, I'd have to then mess with all the well pump stuff, and it just wouldn't be very easy. So we opted to just get a new sill plate that went the entire length of the side of the shed over here, and then we kind of patched to fill in the missing distance there. But really just dealing with a bit of a mess down here, where just really there was not a good way other than replacing the entire foundation, just basically building a new structure in order to fix that. So just kind of had to deal with that. Led to some oddities when dealing with the siding on the outside, but overall I think this was the best, most economical solution that we could do, getting all of this set back up and getting it all weather tight for winter. So I think we did the best we could with that. But just kind of a bizarre situation to have, you know, such a nice flat section over here, real easy to secure that in, but then when we got to the end here, needing to deal with all the extra cement patching and dealing with that. Couple cracks to the area over here, not nearly as bad as you move further in, but certainly seems like it was just an afterthought to have this whole shed area be this big. So in thinking about what we want to use this space for, this area here, probably about the width of what isn't covered yet, I want to install some 2x4 framing and then put some plywood on that to form some shelves that we can use for storage, leaving an area at the bottom that we'd be able to put something like some of the extra gas cans and other things like that. Maybe make this go up about as high as the shelf over here to kind of make these even with each other. I want to add some of those plywood pieces and sections, adding some extra structure to the supports as well, maybe some 2x4s between some of these frame pieces, add in some plywood, be able to put some storage up there. I want to be able to actually use the workbench down here as well. It's got some outlets on it, so that would be nice to be able to set up a shop to maybe just even be sharpening my chainsaws and doing different things like that out here. And over here has been where I've been actually stacking our wood. This is where I had it at the end of a couple of my different milling videos, where I had it stacked, I had it ratchet strapped. All of this has dried enough that that's not a concern anymore, and I've had to take it in and out several times. Not sure if I want to keep using it to dry wood. I might move that to our larger shed that we store our tractors in, clear some space in there, maybe move some of that in here so I can dry slabs out there, because there's just really not a lot of room to maneuver other than getting dimensional lumber in here. And that's all one of the reasons I wanted to put the plywood in here, is that it's so easy to nudge some of this wood I'm drying when I'm maneuvering it around to just scuff up all that insulation batting and make it look really bad. So that's the main goal of that plywood, is to really just hold that all secure and then keep it from getting damaged. And I think it's worked out really well. But if we decide to start drying the wood in that other shed, I may turn all of this area on the back here into shelving as well. So then we would just have a entryway that you come in on, and then we'll have things stored along both walls, and then maybe some usable space down here for that workbench. So I'd like to keep a lot of my sharper tools in this shed, so that way they're not in the garage near where the kids can get at them. So I think that would be a great way to use this space. So yeah, overall we're really excited to finally get this to completion. When I do finally get the last bits done and the storage, I'll show you guys how all that turns out and how we're utilizing it. If you want to see how I did box in that well pump, be sure and check out that video here. If you want to just see some of the other projects we've been working on, be sure and check out this video next. Thanks for watching.